God damn. How are we gonna afford to live? Interest rates have climbed. Rents have nearly jumped. Like, what are you supposed to do? Alright, if you're watching this, you're most likely in America. My question to you is, how are we gonna afford to live in this country soon? Because I'm looking at the statistics and I'm seeing the median home price in the United States is over $400,000, nearly double what it was in 2012. But yet the income wage level ain't really reflecting. And then on top of that now, I don't know why I'm sounding like a preacher, but interest rates have climbed past 7% at the time of this video, making mortgages more expensive. And rent, don't get me started with rent. Rents have nearly jumped 30 to 50% in many cities in the last few years. And so you guys, especially if you're not in the military yet, you guys probably know this already, and you guys are probably considering joining the military because of these reasons alone. Because these are some valid freaking reasons. I'm like, God damn, bro, that's insane. And especially since college doesn't guarantee you a good job anymore. Rest in peace to all my computer science majors who just got absolutely smoked by AI. Like, what are you supposed to do? And so me being a 23-year-old who recently bought his first home, thank you, I'm going to explain to you how I bought my first home in the military and how you guys can also buy your first home in the military too. These are your options. And if you're not in the military as of now, watch till the end. Or if you're in the military now, watch till the end, because this is some good information you need to know before joining the military. And so what you need to know is each branch is different when it comes to housing and in the military. You're not going to join the military and they're not going to pay for a mansion, right? And you're not going to join the military and they're not going to pay for your rental portfolio. I need you guys to understand it now. This housing benefit in the military is to serve for that purpose alone, to serve as a benefit to allow you to get yourself some housing, right? Now, what people do is they buy a property, and I'll explain that in detail later. They'll buy a property and then they'll keep that property when they leave that duty station, and then they will rent it out and repeat that process. And so you guys need to know two things: BAH and BAS. BAH is basic allowance for housing. This is pretty much the rate that is based off of your geographical location, wherever your duty station's at. That's going to be the rate that they're going to give you. This is also going to be based off of your rank, right? More on that later. Keep watching. And you're going to get paid BAS. This level is also not based off rank, but it's a set standard in amount. And so officers do get paid a little bit less, but enlisted side generally get paid the same. And on top of that, usually this is the part where your branch comes into play, because if you're in the Air Force, you get BAH not as soon. This is all dependent on a lot of variables, because I'm gonna get into it later in the video. But in the Air Force, you get BAH usually once you hit E4 and you have 3 years in service. And so it's different for each branch. For an example, again, in the Navy, usually you can get BAH when you hit E5, whereas if you're in the Army or the Marines, you don't get BAH until you hit E6. And so you need to consider that when you're deciding what branch you want to join. And going more in detail of the housing options of the military, it works like this. Most of you watching this are single, and unfortunately for you, unless you're an officer, you're not going to get BAH until your branch of the military service that you join allows you to BAH. So in the Army, I joined single and I didn't get BAH until I got married. Yes, until I got married. And so when I got married, I was in E4 and I got paid BAH with what? With dependents. And so also, right, there's two rates for BAH. There's with dependents and without dependents. And you guys can obviously connect the dots. If you have dependents, you guys will get paid with the dependent rate. And if you guys don't have dependents, you guys will get paid without dependent rate, right? And so that rolls into getting paid BAH with no dependents, because if you're a single soldier and you reach the rank of E6 in the Army, E4 in the Air Force, and if you're in a Coast Guard, like as soon as you get to your duty station, you're gonna get paid the BAH rate with no dependents, right? Okay, cool. So we now understand how BAH works. BAS is pretty much the set rate of you to provide yourself some food. You guys can look it up. All of this is public information, by the way. You guys can literally look up BAH rate for whatever zip code your duty station is in. And so now that you know about the BAH, BAS, you guys have to know the options of how to use your BAH and BAS, right? Some people choose to prefer to stay on post. In the military, you guys may be afforded the opportunity to live on post. Most of the times, if you guys choose to do this, you won't get BAH, or you will get half of your BAH, because the military will be paying for not only your housing, but your electric bill, your water bill, all those other utilities are covered. Whereas if you stayed off post, this is strictly on you. Even if your BAH doesn't cover all of your utilities and your mortgage or your rent, you are still on the hook to pay that. And so that's why some people would choose to prefer to stay on post versus off post. Now, some people get creative. They literally buy a camper and they save as much BAH as possible for maybe their dream home down the line. You can totally do that too. And this is where me buying my first house comes into play. Not only you guys get BAH and BS while serving in the military, you also get the unique advantage of having the VA home loan. And if you don't know what the VA home loan is, it affords you to buy a property with 0% down. Now, obviously, you are still definitely gonna pay money down, but it's going to be significantly less than what you usually have to pay, which was usually 20%. And so if you buy a $100,000 property, 20% of $100,000 is $20,000, which is a big chunk of change for most young people. You don't really see 23-year-olds nowadays dropping down payments like that on houses. And so if you're in the military and you watch my video series of me buying my house, you'll learn how easy it is, or how easier it is for you. You still have to put in a lot of work to buy your first house or your first property. And if you guys have been following my channel, this has been the kickstart for a lot of millionaires to get into real estate. Because if you guys did not know, the #1 way of becoming a millionaire in the United States of America is through real estate. And if you guys have watched the countless amounts of interviews of me talking to real estate investors, the military paved the way. And so if you guys want to follow my journey on how I bought my first house, the house that I'm in right now, I made a whole series. And if you are watching this and it hasn't been uploaded yet, stay tuned for it. And I will walk you through how I bought this first house, because your boy will be buying plenty others. And I want to inspire you guys and educate you guys to do the exact same thing, and to not do the exact same thing. That will all be covered in the videos below. And also, I want you guys to join the Discord, because my friend Adonis is taking 5 people. Yes, 5 people. If you guys are still watching this and it's like a year from now, still apply to help them buy their first house as well. So click the link in the description below. Join the Discord. We literally have a channel dedicated for real estate only.
Congratulations. Yeah, they got